Okay, so we're going to work on lesson 45 right now. You can read all this through and we'll give you some examples. It says, how many odd counting numbers can be formed from the digits 3, 4, and 5 if no repetition of digits is permitted? Well, if they're odd counting numbers and you can use these 3 digits, it's not saying it has to be 3 digits. It's saying it can be 3 digits, but that means it could possibly be 2 or even 1 digit. So you put a little spot for however many digits you have. Then, in each one of those, you're going to put your number of choices. Now, if it's going to be an odd counting number, then this number right here has to be an odd number. 2 of my choices are odd, so I'll put a 2 right here. Now, it says no repetition is permitted. So I did use one of my odd ones. So one of them's gone, and I still have my 4. So I get ready to put one, say here, I have 2 choices. But now I've used up 2 of them, and I only have 1 choice left. Now it works pretty much the same for the others. But if it's a 2-digit odd number, this number has to be odd. So again, I have 2 choices for that. But once I use one of these, I have 2 left over. But this one right here, if it's going to be an odd number, it has to be the 3 or the 5, so I have 2 choices. I'm going to multiply each line together. I'm going to add them up. And that is the number of different ways you can do that. Okay? Okay. We're going to now find the number of 3-digit odd counting numbers that are less than 600. So now, this has to be 3 digits. I don't have a choice, okay? I know that there are 5 odd number digits, I'm saying. There is a 1, 3, 5, a 7, and a 9. Of course, and that means our evens are 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So these are the digits that are odd and the digits that are even. So if it's an odd number, this one has to be odd. So I know that I have 5 choices here. Also, if it's less than 600, that means this can only be, if it's less than 600, it can't be a 7 or a 9. I'll put it that way. Okay? Well, let's see. No, it just needs to be an odd number. I was thinking odd digits. Sorry. So it has to be less than 600. So this can be a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1. It can't be a 0 because then it wouldn't be 3 digits. So that's 5 choices there. Now, by the way, it's not telling you can't repeat digits, okay? Now, for this one, it doesn't have to be an odd number, and it can be any number. So I have 10 choices here. So I'm going to multiply those together, and I have 250. Okay, let's look at the next one. There's 5 math books and 4 English books on a shelf. It says how many permutations are possible if you keep the math books together and you keep the English books together. So first of all, let's do our 5 spots for our math books. So we have 5 math books. We choose one. But when we choose it, we had 5 choices. Let's say we put it here. Now there's 4 left to choose. Now there's 3 left to choose to put on the shelf, and so forth. Then you've got your English books. But there's a total of 4. So in the first choice, I have 4 to choose from, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. So I'm going to multiply those together. And that, by the way, is 2,880. But what if you put the English books first and then you put the math books? You'd have the same numbers down here. You know, you'd have 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 here. And over here you have 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. We'd be multiplying them in a different order, but that doesn't change the outcome. So that's 2880. So there's 5,760 choices there. Okay? Okay, you have to have your graphing calculator for the next part. Pause the video and get it if you don't have it. Okay, now we're going to be using your calculator, and we're going to learn how to enter data in order to get a two-variable analysis, okay? So, first of all, you need to know where your stat button is. Let me get this on the camera good. This says stat, okay? And whenever this says stat over here, this is the button you hit. Where it says like L1 over here, you're going to hit the second button, and then down here, the 1, because it gives you L1. So for L2, you do second and 2, and so forth. Okay? So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see a little bit here. Okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to do stat. It says hit number 4. 4 is clear lists. And right now it's asking you what list to clear. This is when you do second one, which is L1. Do a comma. The comma is right above the 7. Okay? And then do second 2, that's L2. You probably don't have it in more than that. Hit enter and it says done. And then we go back to stat and we go to edit. And you need to make sure this cursor is over here under L1. So you just use these arrow keys right here. So I just need to go left. And what you're going to do is the X values are entered here and the Y values are entered here. Okay? So you need to go to your book to page 322. I think it's page 322. And this is problem set 45. It's example number 8. Okay? And you're going to enter the X's here and you're going to enter the Y's here. And when you get done with that, that's what this is saying right here, okay? So when you get done with that, you hit stat, you go over to tests, like that, and then you go down to where it says linear regression t-test. Now you have to go way down to find that. There it is. And don't get this one, get that one that says test at the end, and hit enter. Make sure that this says L1 and L2. If it doesn't, then you just, with your cursor there, you do second 1 or second 2 or whatever. But you have to go down and you have to highlight calculate. Okay, I said scroll down to calculate and hit enter. Now mine is not showing anything because I didn't enter any data in there. But yours will. Now, this is what you're going to do. Okay? It's going to show you something like this. I said here, it shows this on your screen. Now, we're used to it looking like y equals mx plus b. So that means the slope is going to be b in their list, and the b that you think of is going to be their a. So you just find the a and the b, and you write your equation. I said then hit the down arrow until you see R and write down what it is. So you'll just like write something like R equals whatever it is, like 0.92. Okay? It's called the correlation coefficient, and you can read again on page 322 what all that means, and when it's good or when it's bad. So now it's a good correlation coefficient in scientific data as long as the R is greater than or equal to 0.9, or if R is less than or equal to negative 0.9. But if it's social sciences, now that's like population, birth rates, things like that. If R is greater than or equal to 0.6, or if R is less than or equal to negative 0.6. Okay? So if it's in one of those ranges, this just means a positive slope and a negative slope. Then you just state whether it's good or bad. Okay? So follow the example on page 322.